Greetings, listeners. I'm Dr. Kristen Stahauer, Academic Vice President and Provost for Northwood University. Welcome to our Faculty Spotlight, a podcast aimed at giving listeners an insider's view into the brilliant minds and expertise of Northwood University's distinguished faculty members. Over the course of this series, we explore a wide range of topics from business and economics to entrepreneurship and innovation. Each episode features in-depth conversations with our professors who share insights, research, and experiences to educate, inspire, and engage our listeners. Today's episode features Dr. Thomas Kratzin, International Business Chair at Northwood University. Dr. Kratzin is here today to discuss global business perspectives. Welcome, Herr Doctor.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I'm happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you here. Let's just start out by what makes Northwood University a great place to study international business.
Now, first, I believe we have a very diversified student body, and we have more and more international students. And in my classes I teach right now, there are 10 people from the Netherlands, which makes everybody helping to understand the difficulties, but also the advantages of international business. And we also have great contracts with the automotive industry, suppliers from my native country, Germany, as well as from other European countries. So that's the way it goes. And every company now needs to have employees who are familiar with cross-cultural situations, the trade policies, regulations, et cetera, because companies need to make more money outside the domestic market.
Absolutely. And one of the things we often say at Northwood University is that whether somebody spends their entire career in the United States, maybe even in the Great Lakes Bay region of Michigan, they still need to compete in the global economy. And we're equipping our students to do that.
Absolutely. And again, we have many examples from international student exchange. As you know, we have seminars outside the United States. So I try to get some students going to Europe. I also do consulting business pro bono for companies in Germany to be up to date. And if somebody needs an internship, I can connect them to maybe go 2 months or a couple of weeks, 6 weeks, and work at a Mercedes-Benz or other factory in Germany.
Well, and you are a scholar practitioner. Basically, you have the doctorate,
yes,
and you also have that extensive international business experience. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Yes, so I worked in 8 countries, mostly Europe, 1 year in Hong Kong, and it was investment banking and finance, economic forecasting. I moved 28 times, or lived in 28 cities.
28 times.
Yes, you name any major city in Europe, I pretty much was there. So I felt myself very lucky because I like to go out and talk to people from different countries and explore the opportunity for business, because the disadvantage might be you have more competition, but the advantage is you can use so many more resources, and you can use trade-offs like the exchange rate risk. If you are in different countries, you can upsell it or balance it, right? So if the dollar goes up and the euro goes down, you're good because you're in both currencies. So my academic background, as you know, is international finance, economic forecasting, marketing minor. So in my native country, education evidently was not so expensive, so I took advantage of it. And I was lucky that I got in contact with Northwood, because I think our idea is what is needed for students in the future and where we separate ourselves.
Well, and you really do beautifully illustrate what we bring to life and what we bring into the classroom at Northwood University. Now, you also are a big believer in international career opportunities for students.
Yes, absolutely. It's not just a financial opportunity. So you have usually a bigger pay scale in international business, but you get in contact with other people, and it will, it will change your life too. So you get the perspective from other countries, you see the different cultures, and I think that's the reason why you would be ahead about somebody who would apply for the same position if you have these experience and if you have these connections, and that is what Northwood does. So our faculty is very diverse. We have many international students, and we have great support from you and Dr. Kent. So can't get better.
Well, we are a university with a global footprint, and that's a very important part of who we are as a university as we live out our free market values. Could you speak to the importance of free markets?
Yes. Unfortunately, in my native country, there is a movement now where the market is not that free. There's a lot of restraint for companies through high tax burdens, and companies are leaving the country because there's more and more bureaucracy, there's more and more regulation, there's no more free enterprise as when I grew up. There is more socialism in now, and this all has to be paid by somebody. Besides the immigration problems Europe has as a whole, so this is a good time to take advantage and get ahead, as the United States always did, and get our people, into international business and take away from the market as much as we can.
So, and you mentioned your home country, which is Germany.
Yes.
What are some things that they are doing well that we can learn from?
Well, what they do well is they focus a lot of education, of training, seminars. They have two different systems. They have universities as we do, but they also have a apprenticeship where you 3 years go and work 2 days in a company. So you get prepared for your future job. And then you also go 3 days to school. And then you can basically get up the career ladder inside the company, and the company can shape people the way they want. I think we used to have that in the United States. So it is something which helps the learner and also the companies. So that's a good thing. They have lots of social things they do well. Nobody has to worry about getting sick because there's a health insurance. But again, not everything has advantages. Of course, you have to pay for it, and that's a big burden. So companies like Walmart won't go to Germany because of the expensive healthcare system.
And that really ties into the economics of trade policies and domestic fiscal policy sometimes drives international business decisions.
Absolutely. And you can see right now Germany struggles and the euro is down right now because there's not so much belief that they can handle the change from being a country which had a lot of heavy industry, and now trying to get in sustainable industries like wind, and they want to have lots of electric cars, but it's not so easy, right?
You mentioned the two-track educational system in Germany and the practical application in the one track, and in the United States, and well, in Northwood specifically, we really have an emphasis on experiential and applied learning. And earlier you mentioned internships. Could you highlight some of the internships that your students have been able to get?
So I have partners in Germany who have factories producing windows or supply the automotive industry, so they can learn the different accounting systems, the different trade policies. They can learn how a trade-free zone like the European Union, where 17 countries have the same currency, where they can take advantage and take a little bit out of the country risk that exists when you go somewhere out, right? So this is all experience we can supply them with by doing our exchange students, doing internship in Germany or in France or in Italy, or taking students literally to Iceland or to France or Italy. So it's both. It's fun, and it's also helping them to establish a good foundation for their future job.
It definitely can change one's perspective and hence one's life, really. As you mentioned, the advantages of having that global perspective gives students a leg up. In their careers and interviewing for jobs.
And maybe they enjoy talking and learning a second language, which also helps because, again, companies are now in these days looking for people who are not just specialized in accounting or in marketing or in economics. It's all tied into the global business. So you need to know the differences in culture, and it's tough to learn just from a book. So you need really people who either like me or like other faculty we have, who have the experience, who live there or go there once in a while. And that helps students to get a better idea what is different doing business there.
What are some of the most important cross-cultural competencies for a student to add to their toolkit?
So I would say language, the different trade versions.
Even language now, even though there's Google Translate and all
Yeah,
these
but
different apps.
That's I just had an example with my international class this morning, and I said I was talking to a friend about cars. Germans are, cars is very important. So, and I couldn't think about the name of what was inside the engine. It's a camshaft, right? So, but the German word would be something totally different. And if I translate it literally, you wouldn't have no idea what it means. So what I'm trying to say is you cannot use Google for everything, because the same word in German, as an example, might be something totally different.
Right. There's context, there's meaning, there's
Yes.
that authentic connection. Certainly, I'm a big believer in the benefits of investing in learning different languages.
Yes, absolutely. So I can't see any student who would not need to get a global perspective. I don't think it's going to be competition. I don't think he can be a good competition in a American company, who wants to expand, as an example, to Europe or somewhere else, because it's huge markets. If you just see India and China, that's almost 1/3 of the world population, right? So,
Absolutely.
but there's risk too.
And speaking of that, you mentioned forecasting is one of your areas of
Yes.
expertise. What do you see for the global economy?
I think a strengthening in our financial system. I think we did absolutely the right thing and increased and raised interest rates. I know for young people who want to build a house, buy a car, it's not so good. Older people like me have a better retirement investment. So I think that's one of the economic data where we will get over Europe. But because if you see the markets, it's 500 million to 330 million in the United States, but we are still leading in financials. And if the United States raise interest rates, pretty much Europe has to do the same, because you can't just finance your money forever, right? So that's what I think. What I think is, and that's why I believe if students learn trade regulations and financial data and economic data from Europe or from Asia, they can bring that into their company and make them more successful.
So, just shifting gears a little bit, you spend a lot of time in the classroom, but what do you like to do to relax? What are your interests
I
or
like
hobbies?
to travel. As you can hear, I like to talk with people. I like to work a little bit with my hands, so I try to work on cars. I have a collector car in Germany, and I don't trust anybody with it, so I work on it myself. You know what the saying is: if you do it yourself, you know you're doing it right.
What kind of car is that?
It's a German car. Starts with a P, and it's a little bit older.
What is that?
It's a Porsche.
Porsche.
Yeah, it's the same age as me, so we won't talk about that, I hope. But I bought it damaged, and the last 5 years, whenever I'm there with friends who has a dealership over there, trying to make it one day a good car.
And for the car enthusiasts who are listening, I'm sure they'd like to know what model it is.
It's a Porsche Speedster 59.
All right.
356.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That sounds like quite a project. And
Yes,
certainly.
but it's expensive too, so I have to save money somewhere else. Through good investment, I hope.
Yeah. So let's talk about that in terms of your finance is one of your areas of expertise as well. How do you bring that alive for our students?
So what I try to do is I go into practical examples. So since I'm now preparing for retirement, now it's a great opportunity, because taking advantage of our interest rates, taking advantage of the increase in federal bonds, and you can show students on their own examples when they build a house or when they buy a car, how you can use the financial markets right now, how you can use the either higher or lower interest rates. And that's the same for companies, right? They can take advantage of lower interest rates, as an example, in Europe, and borrow money and invest it here where we have higher interest rates. So there's always opportunity.
So were you able to get to the Northwood University International Auto Show this weekend?
I unfortunately could not because I still have a couple of medical issues, but I heard from my students and we exchanged pictures and everything. And so it's just something I really love on Northwood, besides all the other good stuff. The beautiful campus, the auto show, all the events we have. It's just, I never, even so, I went to a university in Michigan. I won't say the name, but it's called Michigan, I guess.
There you go. Yeah, that is absolutely fine.
And that is something where we think are different in doing these things.
Absolutely. Hands-on learning,
And
learning in the
I heard-
classroom and on the
sorry.
campus.
I heard from my students they loved it.
Yeah.
The first day was rain when we sat together for our meeting, but I saw the pictures and it sent me pictures, and students asked which one I like and this and that. And I wish I would have won the lottery, the 700 million. I could have bought some cars. Yeah, that was really great.
Well, it speaks to your connection to students that they were texting you from the auto show, and
Yes.
you have that connection and that relationship in terms of really getting to know them and supporting them inside and outside the classroom, and that they reach out to you.
Yes, so we talked about our faculty day of rigorment and asking students to work hard, but I also am a believer in helping and giving real examples compared to the examples and theories from the textbook. You have to know that too, but I think my job is more to fill in and say, so this is what the book says, and this is how we apply it in the financial or economic world. And I tried to help them. I said, if you let me help, you will have a good grade. If not, maybe not.
Well, our students are so fortunate to have you
Thank you.
and your expertise in the classroom. You're caring for them and really helping them get on the path to great careers in the global economy, whether they're in the United States or working internationally.
Right.
Dr. Thomas Kratzin, thank you so much. Vielen Dank.
Thank you. Very good.
We really appreciate all you do for Northwood University.
Kristen, thanks for your support, and it was fun talking with you over international business.
And for those who are our listeners, please join us again for our future podcasts where we will share additional insights from our professors. And please check us out on social media. And we look forward to you joining in on our next episode. Thanks for joining us, listeners. And thank you, Dr. Thomas Kratzin.
Thank you, Kristen. My pleasure.